Eric Weinstein asks how we model multiple forms of value. For example, most organisations will track the money, but actually there are many other forms of value that we may need to track. And depending on the type of profit that the organisation is after, the type of value we really need to track may not be money at all. So for example, when we go back to episode 28, where we talked about every organisation is for profit, what are the values that feed into that profit? What are the forms of value that we need to track, especially when the money is secondary to the drivers for the organisation? Now, why this is important even for commercial organisations is that things like trust are actually central to the way that every organisation operates. I remember working with a bank once that had managed to take itself from the most respected in the region to the least respected in just 6 months, because they'd managed to completely screw up the way they did trust. And we had to build a whole architecture of trust around how it operated. The same is true of an organisation that, for example, might want to do self-insurance for cars or for trucks. I know of one large organisation which does this. But that again depends on trust, on building and maintaining trust and proving that trust. So that what we do is we go back to the enterprise story. What story are we in? This is the enterprise that the organisation operates within. For example, take that classic example I've used a few times of TED, that ideas worth spreading. Everything's about the values implied in ideas, and that these ideas are worth spreading. The money is secondary to that driver. It needs to be there, but it's not the purpose of the organisation. So we need to think clearly about what are the values that we need to track and how we do them. So we identify what the values are that we need to track, and then we model the flows and the transforms. So that, for example, a conventional money-based organisation transfers every form of value into money and ignores everything else. This is not a good idea. So we can use models such as Enterprise Canvas to track what the value flows are, how they move through the organisation, and then make sure that the values that we need. So we need ways to monitor, we need to measure at each step what the values are, what the effective value of that value is at each point in the transform, and then look at how it transforms one value into another. Now, the key to implementation of this are what we call the pervasive services in Enterprise Canvas. If you think of key values such as health and safety, security, reliability, environmental effectiveness, financial probity, all of these are absolutely critical to the way the organisation operates, and we need to track them. The way we do that is with services like health and safety, like security, who build awareness this value is important, build capability to actually enact that value at runtime, make sure that it is enacted at runtime, and then monitor what the effects are, what the outcomes are from working on that particular value. So we track it, we track each value through pervasive services, through monitoring and deliberate monitoring, which means we need an architecture to do that monitoring, to define what that monitoring will be. And it applies to every organisation, not just a so-called commercial for-profit organisation. Because every organisation is for-profit in a number of different ways, and we need to track what those ways are.